How you doing, YouTube? I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk to you about a few things on my mind, and been watching some interesting videos here on YouTube. I'd watched one by Synergy where he was speaking about water resources. I think the video is called The Water Illuminati, but he was basically talking about water being the next big thing of the future, and them controlling water rights and then selling it to us because everybody needs water, and how that's a big investment strategy right now. And I'd actually seen a documentary about that and thought that was pretty interesting. And then I was watching one of Bar Nunn's videos where he was talking about them adding aspartame to the milk. I'd actually seen that on the news, so I don't know if that was really the focus of his video so much, but it was in the title, and I'd seen a segment on the news about it where they were talking about, I guess there's a push to add aspartame to all the milk that's not labeled organic, and they're not going to put it in the ingredients list. It'll just be a component of the milk, and they don't have to let you know that that's one of the ingredients. And I found that pretty disturbing. I don't think aspartame's good for you. It's been linked to cancer and whatnot, but so isn't everything else. But just the thought of them adding ingredients to your food, especially food like milk, where milk is just milk, the same as water should just be water, without letting you know that there's other ingredients, is pretty disturbing. If it starts with, aspartame sounds bad enough, but who knows what else they'll put in it from there, and I've already seen all the stuff about fluoride in the water, and I find that pretty disturbing. When you look into it, it's pretty questionable whether or not you want that in your water. But then to remove the choice, and there's no labeling on it. And there's been a few other ones. I watched somebody's video about permaculture, where they were doing, I think, food forests, they were referring to it as, but wild planting of food crops that would reproduce themselves, so that you've got a wild source of food where you could forage if ever needed, and crops that'll just kind of grow wild, and that you're out there planting them in the wilderness, and then you know where they are if you want to come and gather them. Thought that was pretty interesting. I've kind of been on the fence about preppers and the whole prepper phenomenon. And some of it I think's a little nutty or a little extreme, but on the other hand, you'd be pretty stupid not to be somewhat prepared, not to have some kind of skills and knowledge, and it's kind of your responsibility to be prepared to some degree. So some of them I think get carried away, but then also some of them have some pretty good points, and some pretty good reasoning for what they do, and at some level of it I think is called for and is smart. So in some of it, where we're investing in things because of inflation, at the same time, you could argue that, just products like toilet paper, soap, toothpaste, whatnot, they're all subject to inflation, so even stacking those is a pretty reasonable decision to some degree. Filling up your whole garage full of toilet paper might not make sense, but, to be prepared with some water and some food and things like that, it's probably pretty good. I watched one of Big Silver One's videos, and he was, making an analogy about planting crops and tilling the soil, and I thought that was great. It's good to hear people doing that, because I'm thinking in the future, good sources of unadulterated food is going to be really important, and so won't the knowledge as far as how to grow your own foods. And with the prevalence of, processed foods and GMOs and everything, I think that being able to have some kind of self-sustenance and, producing your own food and having your own supplies is a really good idea. And I'm actually thinking about getting some of I think there were Foxfire books I remember from when I was a kid. And I think I'm going to invest in some of those. It wouldn't hurt to have them on the shelf, the Foxfire series, I think it was. But yeah, I think I'm going to pick up a few of those books just so they're there. And just watching everybody's videos, find it really interesting. And we're all investing, in silver and all that kind of stuff, and I believe silver is really a solid investment, but so aren't other things. You can't have wealth without your health, so it's really important that we, take care of ourselves, and, with food, with knowledge, with, preparedness in other ways. And Yeah, so I just thought I'd make a little video and talk about that a little. Also, I question land. I want to know everybody's opinions about land as far as an investment, whether you think that it's a solid investment or if it's more of a liability. I've always thought about land as being a good, solid investment. But on the other hand, with taxation, with any kind of, things that could arise, disasters and whatnot, I see your land could actually turn into a liability. And then with all the, permitting and zoning and all that kind of stuff, I mean, what can you really do with your land if you have undeveloped land now and you're not big money to where, you can pay for these permits and all these inspections and go along with all their, requirements on how you're going to use your land? What good is the land to you? And then with estate taxes and whatnot, if you were ever able to get a good portion of land, eventually they're just going to take that away from you and divide it up, and you're going to pay taxes on it until it's a liability more so than an investment. But then again, they're not making any more land, so if you have land, you're doing pretty good compared to all the people that don't have anything. So I'd kind of like to hear everybody's opinions on land and also, real estate in general. And yeah, just any thoughts or comments you have, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.